Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome. Tonight, we're going to demonstrate the greater ritual of the pentagram. We've been studying along and we've learned the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, which by its name would imply there's a greater ritual of the pentagram that's invoking. The reason I wanted to demonstrate this ritual is because with the rituals of the ESSG, we have a lot of very advanced rituals, but we don't really have sort of an on-ramp to allow people to work their way up to the more advanced work. Now, the greater ritual of the pentagram, or supreme invoking ritual of the pentagram, or ritual of the pentagram, is taken from the Golden Dawn. And in the Golden Dawn tradition, you would study 2, 3, 4 years, and you would go through up all the elemental grades, and you'd study really hard, and you'd learn a massive amount of information, and then you would be handed the ritual of the pentagram that would basically allow you to create an energy field of one of the 4 elements. Now, it'd be possible to do the lesser ritual of the pentagram in an invoking form and get a similar effect. But this was pretty advanced stuff as far as the Golden Dawn considered. But for us, it is basically a middle level technique that will allow you to experience elemental energies. So when I turn to my old book, this is one old copy of Israel Vergarde's Golden Dawn techniques that he's released. It's basically what they give you is a skeleton of a ritual, a very simple skeletal ritual. And they say in here, they talk about the pentagram traced as a symbol of good. It should be placed with a single point upward, representing the rule of divine spirit. For if thou write it with 2 points upward, is an evil symbol, affirming the empire of matter over divine spirit, which should govern it. See thou dost it not, and that's in italics. Yet, if there may arise the absolute necessity for working or conversing with the spirit of evil nature, it's like, well, wait a minute, you just told me not to do it. But basically, it's a very simple ritual. You go to the 4 directions and you go to the east, you do air things. You go to the south, you do fire things. You go to the west, you do water things. You go to the north, you do earth things. You draw the pentagrams, invoking pentagram. You vibrate Hebrew names, and you do mudras or symbols. And they say, and that the magician will create even more advanced rituals of the pentagram as they need them. So the idea is that they give you a very simple skeleton of a ritual, and you're supposed to take the knowledge that you already have and develop into something that's personalized, which is what I've done for our group.
Hey.
Since we have elemental rituals that involve an element within an element, a planet within an element, this is a good practice ritual because it's simply one element. And if we look at the diagram of the tree of life, we look at the sphere of Malkuth, we see that it's divided into 4 sections. Now, it seems fairly obvious that the best use of this very simple elemental ritual is to conjure one of the 4 elementals of Malkuth, of the physical world. So we have the gnomes for earth, the sylphs for air, undines for water, and the salamanders for fire. This is a good practice ritual to learn how to do these invocations. And these 4 elemental spirits, of course, can grant you wisdom, practical wisdom of the earth, of the air, of water and fire, and they have abilities to do things for you. So looking at Cicero's Garden of Pomegranates, they have a wonderful guided visualization for the sphere of Malkuth, which I thought I would read to you as a preemptive so you'd have some feeling for what the gnomes are about. In this guided visualization, you travel through the sphere of Malkuth and you meet the various elemental forces. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the part for gnomes for tonight. As you sit down on the ground, Uriel, the archangel of earth, emerges from the river of earth in the north. Like a fairer version of Sandalphon, Uriel is also dressed in robes of citrine, olive, russet, and black. Her wings are black, tipped with white, and she holds stems of ripening wheat in her hands. You ask her to show you the workings of elemental earth in the realm of Malkuth. Uriel reaches into the folds of her robes and pulls out a black earth triangle. She touches it to your feet. A feeling of warmth begins to radiate you there. The archangel takes your hands and together you fly over miles of mountainous terrain, flat grasslands and lush rainforests. Suddenly, Uriel plunges into the earth. Although you are startled, you are unharmed. The two of you burrow downward into the soil. Finally, you drop into a cavern with an underground stream flowing through it that sparkles randomly with gemstones. The floor of the cave is alive with creatures, insects, and earthworms. Uriel kneels down to examine the ground. She tells you to do the same. What do you see? She asks. Bugs and rocks, you answer. Look deeper, she replies. You gaze into the earth again, this time with your inner vision. Your image of the ground seems to bubble and distort. The distortions appear as you gaze into the microcosmic level of earth. As you focus your vision into the black background of the soil, you see spiritual beings directing the movements of the insects. These entities are small black creatures of various descriptions. They are the gnomes. Some look like the creatures of European folklore, but others look like black earthworms or amoebas with auras. Such a variety. Several of the creatures are performing different functions. They're pressing dirt and minerals into gemstones. Some are creating pockets of metal ore. Some are directing earthworms to tunnel through the ground, aerating the soil. Some are releasing minerals from the dead organic matter back into the soil. Such busy creatures for such a static element. One of the more classical looking gnomes, larger than most, stands in the midst of the others. Uriel tells you that this is Ghob, king of the gnomes. Reach down into the soil and find crystals of salt, and you realize your entire body is composed from the minerals of the earth. You and the earth are made of the same substance. Parts of you once existed in other creatures, in plants, and in the soil itself. So the gnomes are the earth elementals of Malkuth, and they represent the actions of spiritual beings within matter itself. And Ghob is the leader or the sum total of the earth elementals itself. And that's the target of our ritual tonight. Now, in order to make the ritual more personalized, I took the basics as they are presented by the Golden Dawn and decorated them with verbiage from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Since Shakespeare is, of course, an amazing writer and part of our cultural collective unconscious, Ms. Diva is having issues. It seemed very appropriate to expand the ritual and make it more engaging, more archetypal, more within the sphere of the imagination. So basically what I did is I took the core of the ritual and studied it, broke it down into its component parts, and then studied Shakespeare and found quotes that expanded the ritual and made it more interesting and more engaging, so that it is more able to take us to that higher state of consciousness where we can visualize. And of course, the Midsummer Night's Dream is all about an adventure with the fairies, with the fair folk, and that cultural context. So tonight we will demonstrate this ritual. We will be doing a temple opening to create sacred space. We'll be doing a rose Ankh. And then I will perform the invocation of the gnomes using the greater ritual of the Pentagram as a basis for this invocation. And of course, we will also be doing the sylphs, the undyes, and the salamanders, and recording those as well. So I would invite you to participate in whatever way you see fit. And when Ghob is invoked at the end, oh yes, and the invocation of Ghob is directly taken from Eliphas Levi's Transcendental Magic, because he has 4 invocations of the elements that are quite excellent. And you can just use them practically as they are for invocating the 4 elementals of earth. You ready? So I will begin the temple consecration. Begin with the Qabalastic Cross. Visualize yourself standing on the earth, growing to immeasurable heights until the earth is but a small sphere beneath your feet. Reach up above your head and see a glowing, brilliant, infinite source of light, the source of creation itself. Touch this energy, bring it down to your forehead, and say, bring the energy down, ground it into the center of the earth, and vibrate. Stand in the pillar of light just for a moment. Bring the energy up to your left shoulder and visualize a blue sphere of light, of infinite love. Vibrate. The energy across your heart to your right shoulder. Visualize a sphere of red energy, of pure will and volition. Grounded in the higher self, balance, feel the energy within you. Le Olam. Amen. Inheritor of a dying world, we call thee to living beauty. Wander in the wild darkness, we call thee to the gentle light. Long hast thou dwelt in darkness. Quit the night and seek the day. In ancient times, long before the rise of humanity's civilization, unity became duality, and war was waged throughout the inner planes between the forces of light and darkness. Thus, duality and its eternal conflict came into being. The forces of light and darkness each included 400 stellar beings called angels by the ancients. Separate from these beings, a third force existed, 400 angels who remembered the state of unity and who chose to transcend duality. They became the stellar guardians of the Grail, the keepers of the divine gnosis, that towards which we aspire. In the name of the stellar guardians of the divine wisdom, I bless the water contained in this chalice. May it become sacred as the flowing waters of the infinite cosmic sea. I bless the salt upon this altar with the divine sources of the gnosis, which transcends all polarities. May it embody the strength of formation. The divine magic of Shinnok is the union of opposites. The mixing of the sacred salt and water is the first act of uniting the polarities, the creation of a holy elixir which shall consecrate the stellar temple. The aeons passed, and humanity proceeded to evolve. As we increased our capabilities, the conflicting forces of light and darkness utilized us in their struggle. The stellar guardians of the Grail, who wish to assist the process of human evolution, thus freeing us from ignorance, sent 200 of their number to Earth, bringing with them the fire of divine wisdom. The Nephilim descended upon the earth and taught humanity the sacred art of magic, the secrets of the stellar realms, and the blessings of the elements. Humanity was not prepared to receive the stellar wisdom of the Nephilim. We abused the powers, using the most high magic for petty purposes and to gain control over others. Great magical battles were fought, and the contagion of evil covered the earth. The stellar lords seeing humanity's folly, dispatch 4 mighty angels who seal the Nephilim and their magical arts in the dimensions between worlds, where they silently await our coming. To once again acquire the ancient star lore of the Nephilim, we must prove ourselves worthy. Having done so, we will be given the keys to unlock the stellar gates and commune with the keepers of the divine wisdom. Oro iba eozope exarete. I summon you forth, O Raphael. Come to us, guardian of the eastern stellar gate. Grace us with your breath, which blows forth as the divine wind. Teach us your virtues, which are equanimity and balance, healing and compassion for others. Deem us worthy to receive the first key, so we may attain the secrets of the high star magic. O ipe te I a pe de o ke pe I tome. Appear before us, Lord Michael. We conjure you, O protector of humanity. You are as the lightning bolt which illuminates the dark void. You are the bringer of light and fire. Teach us your virtues, which are openness to the divine wisdom and illumination. Purify us with your flames and grant that we are worthy to receive the second key, so we may unlock the stellar gates and pass into the realm of the Star Lords. Impleha re esel o he kumaya. Come to us, Gabriel, Archangel of the Chalice and the Silver Crescent. Teach us your virtues of love, devotion, and selfless sacrifice. Aid us in our deepest meditations, so we may become connected with the source of all consciousness. Help us attain the ecstatic states of being, which reveal to us the third key to the gates of stellar awareness. Teale eketega nanutea. I invoke you, Uriel, Archangel of the realms of earth. From you we learn the virtues of centeredness and inner contemplation. You teach us stillness so we can hear the silent voice of the inner self. Appear and aid us, O Uriel. Make manifest the fourth key, which shall allow us to enter the in-between spaces, the inner dimensions of our own being. By learning the virtues of the archangels of the Tetramorph, we are given the keys to unfolding the self. It is the underlying unity of the four elements which bestows upon us the fifth key to the stellar reaches. When we unite the four elements within ourselves, we become truly human. And in becoming human, we can attain the stars. The expanse of stars reveals itself. We rush towards the stellar reaches. Come to us, star lords of the Nephilim. We call upon you, Sha'ez Ma'ez and Azael, lords of the Aralim. Teach us your secrets. Reveal to us our inner selves. Help us attain the celestial, spiritual heights. I invoke the powers of the first, which shall open the gates of darkness beyond the spirals of the Asinai. Open the mysteries of creation as a flower. Unto me is a star child reborn and resurrected. In the name of the unity of being, the power is in my heart, on my lips, in my eyes, and in my soul. O el vino de l'unusa de el dastriani do eoni antar a kumi salahote edea azonis oda odo kikale la anta lo selque la indete o el I noromi o te agoholote al kahilante do a maos de yakna pa imbete o I do ovano ani o do al banam alo do al mononas o el do di declare the temple has been opened. The Egyptian rose Ankh Vortex.
The valley spirit never dies. It is the woman, primal mother. Her gateway is the root of heaven and earth. It is like a veil, barely seen. Use it, and it will never fail. One who is pure, I call thee Neith. Pure one who stands at the dawn of time, weaving the world into being, wearer the red crown of Lower Egypt. You hold the Wa scepter of power over chaos. Your judgment is respected even by the gods, for you see the truth of how our world could be, perfect and ideal. Hail and welcome, Neith.
Hail and welcome, Neith.
To be born free, I call thee vast. Cat-headed goddess of justice and pleasure, you drink deeply of the world's delights and command respect from all. You are the imperative of true will, and all follow you in search of knowledge. Hail and welcome, Bast.
Hail and welcome, Bast.
To love, I call upon thee, Root. Primal mother of the gods, regal goddess, wearer of the vulture crown, whose soft wings protect and nurture all. Your selfless love teaches us what it means to be human. Hail and welcome, Moot.
Hail and welcome, Moot.
Wisdom, I call upon thee, Nephthys, excellent goddess whose outstretched wings offer comfort and assistance to all. From you, we learn not to fear the darkness and the transformation it contains. Hail and welcome, Nephthys.
Hail and welcome, Nephthys.
Chit. Eternity, I call upon thee, Isis. Isis, who's crowned with the sun and the moon at her feet. Isis, the greatest of all magicians. You are all goddesses and all women, and the eternal spirit of womanhood, sustainer of peace, of life, and the giver of civilization. Hail and welcome, Isis.
Hail and welcome, Isis.
Ubati, Sa'er, Amer, Shisa, Cha'et, Usasat. We seek sanctuary in the embrace of the goddess.
You know it.
She is the unity of all. She is the light on the path. She is she is love, and all things respond to her.
She is the
The
unity
unity of all. She is the light on the path.
In
In
her,
her all things move. In her all things live. She is loved, and all things respond to her.
She is the unity of all.
She is the light on the path. In her all things move. In her all things live. She is loved, and all things respond to her. It's quite smoky.
greater ritual of the pentagram of Earth. Over hill, over dale, through brush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy king and queen to do their orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall their pensioners be, and their gold coats spots ye see. Those be rubies, fairy favorites. In those freckles live their saviors. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou love of spirits, I'll be gone. Our king and queen come here anon. Habenu e nanu teya oro iba eozopi. As when the golden sun salutes the morn, and having gilt the ocean with his beams, gallops the zodiac in his glistening coach and overlooks the highest-bearing hills. The heavenly harness team begins his golden progress in the east. Habenu e o ipe te a pe te o ke I nanuteya. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling sea. Habenu e na anteya o ipe te a pe te o ke I and peha re esel di ao. The setting sun and the music at the close. As the last taste of sweets is the sweetest last, writ in remembrance, more than long things past. Habenu e na anteya mo o di ale he te tega. On your eyelids, crown the god of sleep, charming your blood with pleasing heaviness, making such difference to which wake and sleep as the difference between day and night. The hour before the heavenly harness teams begins its golden progress in the east. Enubeha. Habenu e Of all the kings, bear him to mind, eternal ruler of these, riches, magic, and wine, of fairies and song, now praise King Oberon. Glorious queen, her kindness well known, all nature obeys you, your honor is renowned. Now praise Queen Titania. We call Oberon and Titania, graceful, elegant, lord and lady. Your kingdom we would enter, open the way in between to the world of the Fae. I open the gates between worlds. I open the kingdom of earth. Ghob, King Invisible, who taking the earth as a support, didst furrow the abysses to fill them with thine omnipotence. Thou whose name does shake the vaults of the world, thou who causes the seven metals to flow through the veins of the rock, monarch of the seven lights, rewarder of the subterranean toilers, lead us into the desirable air and to the realm of splendor. We watch and we work unremittingly. We seek and we hope by the 12 stones of the holy city, by the hidden talismans, by the pole of the lodestone, which passes through the center of the world. Expand our hearts, detach and elevate our minds, enlarge our entire beings. O stability and motion, O day clothed with night, O darkness veiled with light, O master who never keepest back the wages of thy laborers. O silver whiteness, O golden splendor, O crown of living and melodious diamonds, thou who wearest the heaven on thy finger like a sapphire ring, thou who concealest under the earth, in the stone kingdom, the marvelous seed of stars, live, reign, and be the eternal dispenser of wealth of which we all share. Ghob, 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 Ghob. Hail and welcome, Ghob.
Hail and welcome, God.
Great Ghob, grant us your wisdom, your healing arts for bones and flesh. Grant us your gifts of wealth and prosperity. Grant us your gifts of health and vitality. Grant us your gifts of hard work and motivation. Grant us your wisdom so we may be successful in the material world.
Holy art thou, Lord of the universe. Holy art thou, vast and mighty one. Holy art thou, whom nature hath not formed, Lord of the light and of the darkness. May all sentient beings be happy and have the causes of happiness. May they be peaceful and have the causes of peacefulness. May they be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. And may they abide in the great equanimity, which is
We thank you, God, for your presence and your wisdom and your gifts. Stay if you can, leave as you must. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear. And this week in idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles do not reprehend, if you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck, now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, or else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. We thank you, Uriel, for your grounding and your centeredness. We thank you, Gabriel, for the aesthetic states of being. We thank you, Lord Michael, for your protection and inspiration. We thank you, Raphael, for your healing winds and logic and reason. Ritual is now complete.